Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We've got Kenny Samsel on the couch. How you doing, Kenny?
Hey, I've eliminated your pervert song.
Oh, I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
we're phasing out the pervert thing.
That won't change people's perception.
No,
of
no,
me.
it won't. You'll have to make those changes.
All right. So you know how Tom has observations? I got a gripe.
Okay.
I got a gripe
Is
for
it
you
me? What did I do?
It's for you guys. So,
Okay.
Friday free show. You guys had your wives here, and you're like, "Hey,
My
let's hear
Oh
a."
my god. Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
What?
You have full booger on your nose, dude.
Oh,
Oh, white one.
Oh,
A
it's
white
on his
one.
finger,
Get a
too.
white booger. Go get a paper towel and wash your hands.
it
We'll
was
wait.
big enough.
wait.
He had to use his second hand to remove
Yeah, I
it
know,
from
it's
his first
humongous.
hand.
My god, man.
All right.
I'm
So you,
sorry. Now we froze. Like, this camera's not on.
Nose.
So you guys had your wives on. You're like, hey, let's play a voicemail. And it was one of my voicemails. And you heard my little intro. And then it was like, hey, guys, you know how, there's panhandlers on the side of the road? And then you guys stopped. And then you guys discussed it for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Dan's like, all right, let's do another voicemail.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
You didn't even get to hear what
The
I
money
was
shot.
bringing up.
We didn't even get to your
in
money
there.
shot.
You guys
do you
went
want to? Do you want to bring it up
on
now?
yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay. Well, first off, let me explain, Kenny.
First of all, where'd you put that booger?
We just need to get the gist of whatever the hell
yeah.
the caller's
We're-
calling about. I don't care
We're
about
just
your
guys.
opinion.
Of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
we only listen to the front part of the
Just-
voicemail.
Just call and say something, one word.
Yeah,
And then
and
we'll
we'll go.
Yeah, that's all we need.
When you call in, you're like,
It's like a randomizer.
Hey there, Tom and Dan. I'm like, hey, let's talk about that stupid song that he sings every time he calls in. Like I could go on anything.
So I was at a red light, and it wasn't a person selling roses. It wasn't a person selling newspapers or whatever. It was someone with those juggling pins, not like the normal bowling pins, but the regular juggling pins. He had 3 of them.
Professional, they're skinnier.
Yeah.
They're skinnier. Yeah, juggling pins. Yes.
And
I
he-
used to have juggling pins.
He was getting money, and then he would do a little mini juggling act for you
I like
while you're
that.
waiting at the red light.
I like that.
Get
All
the
the other
money.
bums hate him.
And then that was it. I'm like, I've never seen someone try to do a talent before. Because normally they try to do a service, like they'll wash your windshield with the dirty newspaper.
talent.
Or they'll sell you something.
That was in the 80s. That doesn't happen anymore.
That only happened in Cheech Marin movies.
Yeah, that's true. But the fact that he
Escape
came
from
out
LA,
there,
or what was it? Like
and-
Live and Die in LA?
he was on the median, and he didn't even need a sign. He just held the bowling pins, and he was walking up
We
and
know,
down.
When you see those, you know what that person's
Yeah,
here for.
and someone rolled down their window, gave him $1. He did like a little 15-second juggling thing, and then
That's pretty good.
said thank you.
That's pretty good.
And I'm like, that was actually one of the better panhandle. Like, had I
If
had
you give
cash
him like
on
a
me,
5, do you like he does it and he stops? You go, come on, keep going.
Oh.
Come on, keep flipping them, keep
No.
flipping them.
Well, you
Like
just
me
put-
at the strip club, the song starts to get faded down, and I'm like, hold on a second, the DJ's cutting this thing short.
I think you're like, meet me in the Publix parking lot. I'm gonna bring my family. You're gonna entertain me for $20.
Yeah.
You start juggling anything I bring.
Bring
you.
him to your house.
Yeah.
You can bring him to your house.
I would hate though. Like, you're at the light, you pull up a little later, you see him, you give him the $1. As he starts juggling, the light turns green.
No, I'm gonna
and
wait
you're like,
for it.
no, I don't get the show.
No, I'm gonna wait for it. Or
Yeah,
have
yeah.
him sit with you. Sit
Yeah.
in the passenger seat. Juggle through the sunroof.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
juggling through the sunroof.
Yeah, I'll drop you off a couple blocks down. It's same difference.
Yeah, it's like a personal.
What if he had
Personal juggling.
What if you had a partner and you're supposed to roll down your both windows and he's doing it through your car to his partner
Okay,
on the
now
other
you're
side?
Now you're just out of your mind.
So I do like when the panhandler offers you some sort of entertainment. This happened once. Now, of course, you got the buskers, but that's different.
Oh, no. I'm
I
talking
like
about
it-
like at the red light.
Yeah, and I like it when you don't have any idea what they're gonna give you, and then you give them $1, and they're like, "How about this?" Yeah.
Isn't that how the golden voice bum got discovered?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
by discovered, I mean like someone was like, hey, you have a great voice, and he would get paid to say
Before
like
he became soft,
Yeah.
because we gave him too much, the golden voice bum.
too much mac and cheese.
Where we really had him when he was like, you'd give him $1 and he'd be like, "Hi, it's me, the golden voice bum." And he would do like that was more George Takei, but you know what I mean. Like it was like we had him where we wanted him.
He did a fake radio thing because I think what made him famous goes, "You're listening to the hits of 107.5." You know, like he would do something
he would do
like
like
that.
something like
Yeah.
that. We didn't know that he. I think he beat up his sister, and he's
Oh yeah, he's estranged from his daughter for like
Oh,
robbing
yeah.
money from her. or
yeah,
something
he did
like
some
that.
bad things.
Yeah.
He did some bad things.
Yeah. And then they're like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right."
That's why he's a bum.
You're a mentally ill bum.
There's a reason
damn
this
it.
happened.
Kraft
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
about it. They had him voice one commercial.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Get this guy out of here.
Yeah.
He's a lunatic."
They started giving.
Didn't he relapse? I think they found him. I thought he relapsed, and they found him in a hotel room doing crack.
Well,
and then beating up his
Didn't he? Yeah, he's
here's-
slapping his old lady around or something. He's like, I'll take you spent all my craft money, you bitch.
I think we all forgot that he was homeless for a reason because at least the three of us, we've worked in radio before. We're like, that checks out. That's how much radio pays. He probably got fired and couldn't get a job in radio.
There are multiple people right now working in radio that are literally minutes away from being homeless. Minutes.
I remember one time walking down Church Street. It was me and Crystal and the Grizz. And
you guys went a lot of places together as a trio.
He used to live with us when the Grizz.
That would have made me weird. I would have a jealous man wouldn't let that happen. I'll tell you that right now. Are you kissing Grizz?
And then
I've seen those videos. Be like, okay, he's gonna wake up in an hour.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time. Just make we're moving the couch real good, and he's not doing anything.
How is he sleeping through this?
Exactly.
And then the homeless man
stuff your panties in his mouth.
He asked for $1. We gave him $1, and then he's like, "I'm gonna sing you guys a love song."
Oh, I remember.
And then he's like, "What's your names?" I'm like, "Tom," and then Crystal's like, "Crystal," and then so he's like, "Tom and Crystal." And then he looked at the Grizz, and he's like, "And the judge."
I remember that. I totally remember that.
Because he has gray hair. And then we started calling the Grizz the judge for a long time.
If black people that are homeless are singing and they see a white guy with gray hair, it's the judge.
That's a judge.
That's the judge. Because all white people with gray hair look like a judge.
Yeah.
That's just facts.
So what else you got, Kenny?
So I know I got another failed venture story. I know I talked about the Balloon Fest a while ago.
Yeah.
And then,
You do a lot of odd gigs, right?
Yeah.
You do some odd gigs?
Well, no, this is a historical one that I want to share. And this is Tom, you'll be interested. It's a very let's get 'em type of moment that happens later in the story.
Oh, I love let's get 'em.
Yeah, it's one of those. So in the Philippines, back in '92, Pepsi did a promotion. So you guys, it happens in the States sometimes. You'll buy a bottle of soda, and then like the NCAA had it where you'll like get a college on the cap, and if they win the championship, you win a bunch of money. But they always will put it in people's favor. Like you're never going to get Duke or UConn on these bottle caps. You're always going to get like, Middle Tennessee State and, try to do that stuff.
I used to love these, and like there was a certain excitement, I feel like, that you got from these before you realized that everything was rigged.
Oh, yeah.
Like a casino. Like now we all are kind of aware. Like my daughter kind of knows any of these contests. She's like, I ain't going to win that. Like we weren't jaded back in the day. When these first things started rolling out, man, I was all about collecting all the caps.
Yeah. Which, side note, the only one that I think is somewhat doable are those 50-50 drawings at sporting events because it's for charity, legally they have to pick a winner that was in attendance and bought a ticket that day. So that's at least something where the odds are not in your favor, but at least better than a normal lottery or giveaway or whatever. But in the Philippines, they did that with Pepsi, and you get a 3-digit number, and then like for a month, every night they would say, hey, the winning number is 273. And then if you had that bottle, you get, at the time, 1 million Filipino pesos, which is the equivalent of like $8,000 or whatever. And they gave away
for
that.
one razor blade show. Only one, though. And they're quick, 5
so
minutes.
It became gangbusters. Pepsi sales went through the roof. People were trying to do it, and they ended up making it to where there would only be like 2 winning caps that they distributed because they obviously knew the numbers, and there were a lot of dead numbers that they knew weren't going to get selected. But it became so popular, Pepsi's like, let's extend it for another 5 weeks.
That's the greed.
Let's do this because
people
are going to
press more caps.
Like,
Can we make more caps?
They made
Flood the market.
so much money selling Pepsi.
Flood the market with caps. Tom Van, give them all the caps.
They made so much money.
Just like when I type on a keyboard, all caps.
What I know about business, if I'm making a bunch of money, I want to make more. Every time.
If you can get 2, you can get 4.
I never want to make less.
So because they extended, they had to get a whole new batch of numbers, but the computer system initially was only prepped for that first month. They weren't prepped for another few weeks. So whatever programming that they did, it accidentally generated one of the dead numbers.
No.
So on a night, it released, hey, the winning number is, 349, and 600,000 caps around the Philippines had that number and like were winners. So they all showed up at like the Pepsi headquarters in the Philippines in Manila, and they were all like claiming their money, and everyone's like, we can't cash all these in.
600,000 people show. Oh man, that's gonna be bad.
It would have cost them like
that's a bad scene.
Yeah, it would have cost them millions, if not billions, of dollars just with all the payouts.
So what they do?
So many people. So a bunch of Pepsi executives came in and they're like, "Well, this was clearly an error. We will
get the fire hoses, spray them out of here. Spray them out of here."
So so $1 million pesos back then is the equivalent of like $8,000 for U.S. dollars at the time.
Yeah.
So their thing was, hey, we'll offer you guys 500 pesos, which was like the equivalent of like $10. They were basically saying, hey, instead of the 8,000,
it's a believe it or not. It's a take it or leave it.
Essentially that. Well, people did not like that. And so they started rioting.
We're going to burn this place down.
Especially
I love a good burn it down.
A lot of the Philippines were going through some poverty right now. So, $8,000 or $1 million pesos. So they started setting things on fire. They started throwing Molotov cocktails into the Pepsi factories.
Gotta do it.
Random Pepsi drivers.
That'll make them pay.
Yeah. Oh, I'll get you.
Like Pepsi delivery drivers just had nothing to do with it.
I'll Reginald Denny you.
Yeah, it was a get 'em scenario. So they started like,
Reginald Denny?
This is my job.
They started.
I'm your neighbor. Stop killing me.
I'm sorry. I have to pull you out. I have to beat you with my shoes.
Yep, they were tipping it over and they were demanding.
I'm going to pour all the Pepsi into the streets.
Well, why are you attacking me?
No.
I'm just a
I have to do
GD truck driver working for the company. I hate them too.
I was cheated by Pepsi and I am in pain, and you will be in pain now too.
Yep, and so they were setting things on fire. They were looting. There were explosions going on.
I loved it. I liked it.
All because they were doing it.
Now,
what do you think Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola said,
"Oh, they're laughing."
And the Pepsi execs didn't budge. They still refused to pay out any of this.
Now,
you just put up some plywood and let them riot.
I know that you're gonna say like these just
you don't know
things
what I'm
happen.
say.
Yeah, I know because I do this all the time. Because when I ask this question, of course the answer is just a simple screw up with them printing, the dead number as it.
Right.
But you would think that do you want more money? You're extending it or whatever, and then the boss or anybody in charge would say, "All right, let's do this, but let's make sure." The one thing that we cannot do is
take all of the scratch-off lottery tickets and line them all together so one person buys them and gets all of them, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well,
that happened to us.
Well, yeah. Well, we
screwed up.
I am an
but
R
nobody thought it. No, but not one person thought of it.
We're not a $1 billion Pepsi.
You didn't think of it. Nobody working with us thought of it. Like it just fell through the cracks.
Yeah, but we're just small podunk nothing. This is a giant $1 billion corporation with probably this promotion generated hundreds of millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? There's dozens of employees.
I can make a case that the Philippine arm of PepsiCo is run a little looser than North American.
But you also have to realize too, this was all based off computer programming that wasn't expected to go beyond the initial run. So whatever programmer, this was in 1992 technology. So, I mean, there were still, a little bit of advancements, but it's not as if you can easily fact check everything to know what dead numbers there are or whatever. I'm sure they were just running off of some programmer who was just like, oh yeah, it'll work. And who didn't actually check their work because, no offense, they were probably a Tom Van be like, that's all set. It's fine.
And 92, because it's the 90s, people get tricked in thinking there was technology. 92 might as well have been 85. You know what I'm saying? Before,
very similar.
There was a few more computers out there, some Oregon Trails, but it was pretty archaic.
Well, it wasn't like consumer grade like what we have now. There were supercomputers and computers that big business were using, but we didn't have access to them. We weren't around them.
Yeah.
And Pepsi wasn't. Like now they have full departments, I'm sure, that are their own R&D and everything.
So,
but that would have been a new thing that they probably purchased from another corporation.
There wasn't any class action lawsuits.
So they tried, and there's still I think they called it Coalition 349, where it was just a bunch of people who were kept trying to sue them. It kept getting, unfortunately, for them, rejected in courts. Essentially, there was no legal ramifications because they can always fall back to computer error. Sorry. The only thing Pepsi had to pay $150,000 fine for defrauding on the national broadcast. You know what I mean? Just because they aired the wrong numbers.
Some nothing. 150,000 is nothing.
Exactly.
And all those companies, they all have fine print stuff that's written by a lawyer that gets them out of everything. There's sentences in the fine print that says if there was a mistake, then we are not, liable for a mistake in the drawing or whatever. You know, I'm like, there's all these.
It's like
outs.
a casino. If you win on a slot machine, the casino technically can go there and be like, nope, this was a glitch
error.
on the slot machine.
From our Twitch chat room, it's from Christine. She says, after an emergency meeting, PepsiCo executives at 3 a.m. on the 27th, the company offered 500 pesos, which is about $18, to holders of mistakenly printed bottle caps as a, quote, gesture of goodwill. This offer was accepted by 486,170 people at the cost to PepsiCo of $8.9 million.
Yeah. But obviously, that's like, what, 0.05% of what they were supposed to give away. So the Pepsi executives that were in charge were obviously fired. And it's been so long that anyone in the Philippines who was still a part of it, if they try reaching out to Pepsi's answer is, we have no idea. I mean, we know what you're talking about, but anyone involved isn't with the company anymore. So sorry. 5 people died during these riots.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 people died during all the crazy Pepsi riots because of the whole hullabaloo of the Pepsi Bonanza giveaway.
You know, it's like once you're throwing Molotov cocktails at the the Pepsi factory, and there's there's fences and barbed wire
in your Nissan Maxima. Oh God, your legs are on fire now.
Well, as you're like, you're hitting the trucks with baseball bats or whatever.
It's a get 'em.
And then someone falls on the ground, and you're like, oh, they hit him then.
Yeah.
And then he was just the guy hitting the truck with you.
It's like you're whacking ants.
Yeah, but because that person fell on the ground, everybody just turned towards him.
Or you don't realize it.
Yeah, it becomes a pinata at some point, and you're just whacking everything, right?
Yeah.
I'm just whacking it
like
all.
you think you're aiming for the truck, but your swings off and you're just kaballing someone on the head.
It's hard to see through fire.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh my God, we just burned this guy. He was just with us.
But you're okay with it, right? Because it is. You understand that going in, you're like, someone may die today at the Great Pepsi riots, right?
Yeah.
You understand that when you go into that.
Yeah. It gets out of control.
Or does it get out of hand? Like you go in there, you're like, hey guys, look, we're just gonna run in, we're gonna steal some memorabilia, maybe take a poop on the floor, but we're not gonna hurt any. But then it gets out of hand. Right?
Yeah.
It always gets out of hand. Like you're in there. I'm in the president's office. I got my pants down, and I hear people screaming like somebody's getting shot, and somebody did get shot. I'm like, oh my God, I just came here to take a deuce. I gotta get the hell out of here.
Well, so obviously Pepsi took a huge PR hit, and there's a lot of people in the Philippines who refuse to drink Pepsi because of that entire incident, and their market share crashed.
They're proud people.
Severely.
They'll die on that word. I'm with my friends in the Philippines.
It's one of those cultural things.
Against Pepsi.
Yeah, it's one of the cultural things where it's like if you go to the Philippines, it is difficult to find a Pepsi because of this incident.
You burned us, dude.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the Philippines because my buddy Andres showed me some YouTube video.
I've seen that. It was a razor blade show. I've seen that. I'm like, how do they do that?
They took the bottle.
And
I'm like, how do they do that? They must have the most delicate of touch.
He's like, have you ever seen Filipino karaoke?
I've seen this.
And then I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, listen, he's like, the Filipino karaoke. They like, I guess, like in the Philippines, they have an unbelievable. Because of maybe their accent or something. There's something that makes Filipino people be able to mimic like the greatest singers of all time. And then there's videos of like, and it looks like a smoky, like outside dive bar. And then some guy is smoking a cigarette and he is belting out Celine Dion Titanic song, like exactly like where it doesn't even.
I got a few if you wanna.
It doesn't even look real. You're like, no, they just put Celine Dion's voice over this.
No,
it's like,
this is all real. This is the top 10 viral Filipino singers in the world,
and it's a thing.
There goes my heartbeat, 'cause you are the reason.
Wow, it gets good.
I'm losing my sleep.
Links are all in the description down below, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Thanks to like and subscribe.
This
so
person's,
there you go.
But I'm talking about like in dive bar karaoke, like there's like he's in a wife beater smoking, and there's like sitting on a scooter, and he is like belting out Whitney Houston,
but
mimicking their voice.
I think they do that a little bit. Like this one's framed a little more. impoverished. You know what I mean? Like this one is framed. Watch. I mean, like just look.
If you want to become a great singer, check
No,
out
no.
Oh God, they got me. I'm not giving you the click. Not letting you have it.
So remember, Manny Pacquiao was like an award-winning singer from the Philippines, as well as like a congressman or a senator. And
He was a good singer too. I didn't know.
Well, in the Philippines, I don't know if he. But check out Dan. Look up Manny Pacquiao because he released an album out in the Philippines.
He released a music album.
Yeah, no spoken word, Tom. Yes, music album.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, I remember this singing.
Like you would think that all he ever did was box and had no
Here's
time
sometimes
to.
when
Well,
we
and then he
touch.
became a senator there.
Yeah, here's a Manny Pacquiao. Sometimes when we touch, which is a very famous.
Sometimes
Yeah,
when
you
we
got it.
touch. That's
Yeah.
not Manny Pacquiao. That was me for those for the radio
It was
audience.
close though to sounding. Okay, here he is.
I love the dramatic painting of him.
Yeah, is he a good guy? He doesn't hate the gays or anything.
If I love you and I choke on my reply, I'd rather hurt you honestly than mislead you with a lie.
I miss your
And
dad.
who am I
I mean, it's good for Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, but
but
it's
not
not
that good.
I'm with Tom. You know what? I was expecting
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much more. and
But it's
man,
not off key. I will say it's not off key. It's just not the
That-
best.
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what
or
I mean?
like Francis
But-
Scott off key.
Yeah, okay.
But good for him because I didn't think he could sing that well.
Yeah,
You
but there
know?
are better people that like can sing. Like
Of course, yeah, but Manny
like
Pacquiao
I
is the
think
most.
even like
think-
Russell Crowe or Kevin Bacon or God forbid even Steven Seagal with his hit song Punani. You remember that song? It was Tom's
Oh, God.
ringtone for the longest time.
That's a whole nother segment, but I saw this.
Punani?
The documentary of people interviewing about Steven Seagal on SNL was just an absolute disaster. Like, he refused to do half the sketches. One of the sketches that he pitched was just him sexually harassing someone and thinking that it was funny. He was
One
supposed
of the last
to.
ideas I had before
like-
Sam got out of here.
like-
I feel like it's like I had some good ones.
SNL in the 90s, had the Hans and Franz sketch, with them.
Pump
Yeah.
you up.
And the whole skit of that was to make it seem like Arnold could beat up Steven Seagal, and then Steven Seagal, was supposed to beat up Hans and Franz. Steven Seagal is like, no, you cannot say a line that that they think he could beat me up. Like, he would
Yeah, I
beat
remember
him.
that.
He basically said, it's like,
Yeah.
no, you can't insinuate that. He was supposed to do, you could probably find this. For his opening monologue, he was supposed to be like, hey, you guys didn't know I'm a musician. And they were, ha, 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 he was supposed to sing Kung Fu Fighting, right? He refused to actually sing it, so he did a weird spoken word like, everybody was Kung Fu fighting. Their kicks were fast as lightning. And, like, that was his comedic timing.
Yeah, he is nuts. And everybody who's ever, like, there are stories we're working with Steven Seagal that you just describe the craziest person ever.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, I love it because, like, you want him to be a complete douchebag and want him to have that personality. Like,
Although they did have him impersonating Andrew Dice Clay, and him trying to do the was just absolutely atrocious.
Here is a video entitled Steven Seagal's SNL in 60 seconds. Here we go. Let's see how this goes. Hopefully it's fun.
I caught these two guys with 3 kilos of cocaine. What do you think they were doing with it? Making shark for girls' softball games. Listen to me carefully. I don't want you to talk about anything to me anymore. I don't want you to say my name anymore. I ain't see you any movies, and what's the afro anyway? You look like Link from the Mod Squad. I think Dougie here needs a soda.
I can't watch it. It's making me too uncomfortable. It's worse than I thought.
Like, obviously they pulled it from NBC and everything, but these mini documentaries show the sketches, and it's so much uncomfortable silence, like to a point where the crowd is just not laughing and the actors are just like in fear for what the hell's happening on stage.
I saw Chris Farley, and I was like, I would like to see Steven Seagal and Chris Farley fight.
Yeah.
just to see what would happen.
I think at his biggest and under cocaine, Farley might have a shot.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think. I think he's a pretty powerful dude.
Because no one's ever seen Steven Seagal actually fight someone that
No.
was really wanted to fight. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
Like, he'd never do that.
I've tried to drill this down. I went back and I have found.
It's all the energy things that the people.
Well, I have gone as far as finding video of him when he was very, very young, where he is doing legitimate
martial arts,
and it's good. And there are people that say yes.
Yeah.
This guy was because he lived and did things that you weren't allowed to do at the time.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the way, something broke in his brain, right?
Well, it's apparently he's been like that his whole life. Like how he got into acting and show business was basically just him lying his way there, which is fine. I mean, a lot of people lie their way, but then once he got a little bit of fame, it just completely accelerated that craziness that he already had. There's a story, I can't remember what movie, but one of his later movies, there was some fight scenes where like one of his fights was like he was sitting in a chair because he refused to get up. He didn't want to get up to actually do the fight scene, so they had to choreograph an entire fight scene with him sitting down.
It's actually pretty creative. Janet Jackson did a whole dance routine out of a chair. It's like Rhythm Nation. They're very, very creative.
Although I do love the video. You say no one's ever fought him, but then there's that like video, I think from 2005 or whatever, where it's him just like flipping people over that are running straight at him.
Yeah,
like
oh,
he's barely even moving. They're just running, and he does one arm drag, and they do a front flip to make it seem like he's taking him down.
It's the old man shooting energy balls, and everybody just like going along with it. It would be funny if you actually got, because Steven Seagal is damn near 70 years old now at this point, right?
Gotta be.
But if you found another 70-year-old martial artist that was more legit, you know what I'm saying, and then had two 70-year-old men fighting, because that'd be freaking awesome.
It's so much more fair.
You'd never do it, though.
It's so unfair to be a smaller man as you age, because taller men as you age, you can always go the route of your legs are going to lose muscle, so they're just going to become toothpicks.
Yep.
But you can get a big fat potato top and then just put black clothing and a black jacket over it, and you're fine. I can never do that. I'm too short to do it.
Look up, he's promoting an energy drink now. Like he has his own brand of energy drinks, and the entire commercial is just like bikini babes jumping out of the pool, and then him sitting there like, buy my energy drink. And it's got like insane flavors. Like it's not just like grape or blueberry or cherry. It's like lightning blast.
It almost to the point where
I had one of these.
Are you in on it? Like, do you get how the world perceives you or not? Because
he's in on it. He's in on it. Corey
a little
Feldman's in on it. He's in on it. Dog the Bounty Hunter's in on it. They're all in on it. Somebody has pulled him aside and told him, hey, if you lean in a little bit to the fact that people
goof on you,
you'll make even more money. And that's all they care about. They're just like Tom Van.
I think to a certain extent. I think in his mind he goes, yeah, they're goofing on me, but then they're going to really see me and think that I'm
awesome.
I'm
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, wait. The two flavors he's got are awesome, because one of them is Cherry Charge. The other one is just called Asian Experience.
What flavor is that?
I don't know, but I want it so bad. I don't even care about Cherry Charge, but I want Asian Experience.
Asian Experience.
He's only got two flavors. They come in 8.4 ounce cans.
I mean, what do you even think Asian Experience is at all? Like, what is it even close to?
Cherry Charge and Asian Experience. What is red? What is blue? Asian Experience is blue.
Because
lightning bolt energy drink.
Because then it's like maybe like a cherry blossom tree, but they already have cherry. So then what else you got?
Soy sauce?
Soy sauce. Jesus Christ.
Listen, Kenny said that, and I think he's Asian, so he could say it.
Yeah, you are Asian.
You can never remember what.
He's either Asian or Mexican.
Yeah, we never remember.
I have no idea.
One of the ends.
Speaking of soy sauce, that was a thing where a kid who was pledging at a frat had to chug like a quart of soy sauce, ended up falling into a coma because it was like an overdose of salt in his system.
No, really?
Like he got sent to the hospital because he overdosed on a quart of soy sauce, and the hospital had to basically pump him with sugar water in order to essentially flush it out.
Yeah, because there was too much salt.
Yeah, too much salt in his system. Now, thankfully, he recovered and like no brain damage or whatever. But
okay, so you bring this up, and
good old frats.
We were just talking about the Kobayashi versus
Joey Chestnut
Netflix hot dog eating competition, and like 80s 3 hot dogs or whatever the record that Joey Chestnut just set, has to have the equivalent of sodium of chugging.
I think you process
soy
it.
sauce,
I think you
right?
process it differently in the food than you do if
In
it's
liquid?
pure.
Correct,
Or,
because soy sauce is really just like salt, water, and soy, whereas the hot
Well, it's
dog has
aged too,
so
right?
many other ingredients that I
Components,
think
yeah.
your body is metabolizing those other ingredients
Okay.
alongside
I would
it.
guess that some of those other ingredients, like he's saying, when you bite it and chew it up, that all the sodium isn't dispersed. A lot of it's held, and it kind of your intestines will leach it out.
And because you're also eating the buns, which will like absorb a lot of the stuff. And
I don't know. I don't know anything I'm saying to be true. I'm just telling you what I feel in my heart.
Yeah, but that's what made me think they
Yeah.
purge after that instead of because
You're not allowed to. According to the rules of the like the eating whatever, you have to be basically monitored for like the next 24 hours to make sure you don't purge in order for the record or the championship to hold up.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought it was just immediately, and then like an hour after the event, like they're going privately and doing their business.
I just want to know what the next day, like when you sit down, are you filling the bowl?
well,
Somebody answer my question.
it has to go through, so it's not all like, but it's a tremendous
Yeah,
quantity.
it's a lot
Yeah.
of doo-doo.
There's so much so that it's like you must go see a doctor to give yourself, some sort of blood test or like monitor. It's got to be something.
Well,
like 83.
I think you just sleep it off. You just go to bed,
Yeah.
go take a poop.
I
go to
mean, you've
bed.
seen the
Gotta be some
transition.
damage to your organs, right?
Like growing up, it was all the morbidly obese people competing, and then people who
Yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
somewhat healthy, and they would actually work out because they're like, in order for your stomach to expand, you need to have like a core,
Yeah.
muscle.
One
kind of thing.
more job taken away from fat. Seriously, it's not
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
fair, man.
Now that's
body
for those
shaming.
like official competitions. Now you go to your festival park
Oh,
chili eating
amateurs
competition.
still are really big boys.
Yeah.
yeah, who knows? Well, and same thing with the rules or whatever about having to not purge immediately after. Or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Although I think they use the phrase "reversal of fortune" is what they call it.
They call puking
A
reversal.
reversal of fortune.
Stupid.
Because
So dumb.
listen, it's always the dude in like the giant Nathan's hot dog
With the hat.
suit
Yeah.
with the hat.
I hate that guy.
And then he goes, "Oh, we have a reversal of fortune on the stage," because when someone ends up puking.
I would be yelling, puke it, I'll get him.
What else we got, Kenny?
I'm sorry, you guys are older than me, and I'd like
Get the
to
hell
point
outta
that
here.
out.
You
It's
get
got to
the
be
hell out.
close.
Yeah, it does. It has to be close.
I mean, at least to me.
I am
know
closer
the-
to you.
yeah.
I was in between you and Sam's age. Or I am in between you and Sam's age. So just
Okay.
threading the needle there. But
40.
I try. Yeah, exactly 40.
Boom.
Good job. Good
Knew
job.
it. Knew it.
So I'm experiencing like the long-term severe back pain for the first time because I did a volunteer event at Second Harvest Food Bank, and I was like moving pallets of stuff and breaking down boxes or whatever, and it's just like
You know where I volunteered?
physical.
First Harvest Food Bank. No big deal. No
But it
big
was
deal.
like it was one of those where I've experienced body physical exertion that I've never done before because it's not part of my normal workout routine.
Oh.
And then you just wake up the next couple of days and you're like, oh my God, I'm in severe pain and this is awful. And I was like, God, it
'cause you're
happens when I'm
tall.
40. And
Tall
I'm
people,
old now.
tall people and small people. You and I, we start to break down faster than these regulars. Regulars,
Sure.
the straight shot in the middle is you want to be a regular.
It happened not because you're 40, because you tried to lift a bunch of pallets and you hadn't prepared your body to do that much
Obviously,
exercising.
but if I was like,
Your age
but if I was a younger man, it wouldn't hurt as bad.
He's correct. When you were younger, the lack of preparation was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
The not having to warm up, not having to stretch.
Yeah, you just blood eye it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and it
You're
was
just like,
great, and you would be
"Ah."
fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
too remember those. I mean,
Yeah.
now it's at a point where I have to like stretch before we go walk a theme park.
Oh, Jesus.
That's embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like, because we're gonna be doing a
Have
lot
you
of
ever
walking.
used those massage guns though? Those are miracles.
I have
like those
one of
automatic
those.
bullet ones.
Theraguns.
Yeah.
I have one of those, and I use it if I remember to charge it.
Seeing it in slow motion is also weird, especially when it's on an athlete with like 2% body fat, but it still makes their leg look like a big fat blob of just
Right,
fat,
yeah.
just
I'm
like
like, see,
rippling in the
everyone's
waves.
It's all
fat.
muscle.
Yeah.
And then really you could only do your thighs with it.
Everything else is not meaty enough.
You need someone else to do your
Yeah.
back or anything else. Like, really, it's all just the thighs.
But I will say that laying nude on my bed, I can reach all the way behind me with it. I have to hold it upside down, and I can do my meaty butt, and I like the way it jiggles my balls.
I mean, I can't disagree with that, but I can't agree with that.
Yeah,
'cause
I like
I've
it.
never
I like the
experienced
feeling of it. I like
the ball jiggling.
I like the feeling of it. I think it feels good. But you know what's funny is I didn't realize that those ones that are plugged in, and then they used to have the bunch of attachments. It's very similar in design. It's just smaller. A lot of them were made by Wall, and it's a little white vibrator, and it has a bunch of different attachments. And I started looking at some of my classic adult cinemas, and that was, in fact, what an older vibrator would have looked like, and my mom had one. And I remembered seeing it.
What do they call the Hitachi or whatever?
Yeah,
where
It
it's
was
just like
not
the
a
giant...
Hitachi. It was not a wand. Hold on, I'll show you.
While he's looking that up, one of the things that surprised me is if you just go to Walmart just straight up sells sex toys. Like if next to the condoms and like the other family planning, and it won't just be like body massage. It'll be like, no, this is straight up. It's got a thing with a thing and
Oh, really?
yeah.
I did not know Walmart sold that.
Yeah.
This is exactly the one.
Is it in the pharmacy area?
Yeah, it's in the pharmacy area, like near the condoms and stuff. Like you could just straight up find plugs and.
All right, here
No,
we
it's-
go.
let me say this: it's not going to be like a Fair Villa, wall or anything, but it's going to be like a couple.
But they
of-
got a couple things
Yeah, a
there.
couple of things there
And they're
that-
not hiding it
Nope.
under.
Look at this. This
mean-
is exactly the one we had. This is exactly it.
And that is basically marketed as some sort of massager, but
Yeah.
everybody knows it's for.
See, I was thinking.
I didn't know. My mom and dad
massaging
told
the-
me it was to massage your back.
I was thinking the giant white ones that look like a baseball bat with the knob at the end.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the Hitachi.
Okay, that's what I was
See
thinking.
this thing
you
right
had.
here? See this red one in the center here? That's exactly what we had right there. It looked like a little white Baker Light material kind of a deal. And then it had like a bunch of little attachments you would stick on the outside of it.
It looks like a Who's Framed Roger Rabbit jackhammer.
Yeah. It's exactly what, yeah. You're talking about my mother, sir. My mother needed a Who Framed Roger Rabbit jackhammer.
Do you remember in the 90s, like in malls, they would have what the Aqua Jet massagers, where it looked like a MRI machine, but it was basically like a tarp.
It
and
was like a
would-
bag.
Yeah, it would be like a tarped bag, and it would spray water on it, but you're underneath it, so it's the water jets that are giving you the massage. But
I
you're
do remember that.
you're in the open
Yeah.
like that. And then it was weird because it was like it seemed like a great idea, but you don't want to be that loser that like is in the middle of the mall like groaning as you're
but
getting
there was
like
a
a
time
nice
when you
massage.
weren't a loser. Now you would be, but there was a time when all that stuff, the vibrating chairs, any of the stuff you tried, the helicopters, all of that was awesome.
Anyone who uses a vibrating chair like in an airport or a mall, like the one that you put the dollar bill in and it's
Yeah,
a chair.
yeah,
no
yeah.
one, people are just using it as a
EJ
chair.
does that.
Like
EJ looks like a man that would use a vibrating chair at the airport.
It's weird. With all the technology we have, they have not really fine-tuned and got perfect the massage chair or like
everybody's body's too different.
any
Yeah.
mechanical massager.
Yeah.
Never is as good as you going to a person.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
and there's no that I know of, and there may be some super expensive thing out there that I'm not aware of. But
Same
it's all-
thing goes for prostitution, homie.
yeah.
I'm
it's
just
like,
saying.
It's like because even the super expensive sharper image massage chairs that do your
They
calves.
just
and your
take
whole
up
back.
too much space.
It's never that good. It's like rolling. It's like
Yeah.
no, it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's never. You're never like whoa.
Well, I'm
this
too
is
little
just
for
as
him.
good.
Like I get in there and it starts massaging my calf. Well, he thinks it's my thigh.
I was
It's
gonna
like
say
I'm too small.
opposite problem. I'm too tall for them, so
That's
it's
what I
like,
was
oh,
saying.
do you want a neck massage? And I'll hit the button for the neck massage, and it's only hitting the middle of my back,
Sorry,
and it's just
giraffe.
like.
And it's just digging into your collarbone. And you're just like, this is. I was like, they never got it good.
Yeah.
And it's like you always need a person to make
You
this
do,
good.
but I'm going to say something that sounds a little bit more like you. I have never, and I will never, pay somebody at a farmer's market and sit on your stupid little chair with my head through the cutout
Oh, yeah.
while you give me 15 minutes while there's a petting zoo or while there's a charity event going on. I'll never do that. Just not going to do it. It's not the time and it's not the place.
I never understood, do they make money at casinos? Like if you're at a table every once in a while you'll get the lady with like the little neck pillow, and then she'll be like, do you want a massage? And while you're playing blackjack or roulette or something, someone will just be behind you like massaging your shoulders. I've never once seen a person actually take advantage of that.
They do it at like the World Series of Poker, and you'll see someone do it. And I feel like they're doing it just to be a douchebag. You know what I'm saying? Like,
easily.
And then, but I think in real life, those ladies also will give you a card for some sort of prostitution service. You know what I'm saying? Like, like they do the massage, but also if you're like, hey,
and
you
if
know,
you would like this for other places.
Or at least if it's not her, her business will handle that transaction. I feel like it all goes back to some prostitution in Vegas. Like all the massage people in Vegas can refer you to a prostitute. If that makes sense.
It does.
They're getting asked at the table like, hey, will you come back to my hotel room? Either she'll do it.
I won't, but we have people for that.
I think so.
There's a discussion to get rid of, if you guys ever been to Vegas, you know, the really old 60-year-olds wearing the tarp or the giant yellow safety vest with the brochures or the little cards of naked women for you to call and escort or whatever. They're discussing getting rid of that, like making that illegal to where you can't hand out those cards and stuff anymore. Not necessarily.
What am I going to do with my yellow jacket?
But not necessarily for like escort or prostitution, but because what ends up happening is someone gets it, giggle, and then they just toss it on the ground. So for litter purposes, they're
just
discussing
creating trash.
Yeah, they're just creating trash.
Yeah,
it's that Mitch Hedberg joke. It's like, here, you throw this away.
And like that's been going
Funnier
on
when you did it.
for so long, but it's like you can find this on the internet. Like if you want to search like prostitution in Vegas,
my
like,
area, you can just do prostitutes in my area, and it'll all come up.
Like, and there's like adult friend finder, and
You don't even need that. You could go to Google, I feel like, and type in Orlando prostitutes and get pretty close.
Yeah.
Oh, Reddit's a huge one too. It's the people on, because they'll go on Reddit pretending to look for something, and it's really just someone's like, yeah, I have a menu. Like, here's my menu of services or whatever.
Craigslist will do it.
Craigslist, see, with that, I wouldn't trust because I'm like, anyone can run Craigslist. Reddit, you have to have a little bit of tech savvy to where it's like, all right, if you're at least smart enough to navigate Reddit, you're probably not going to murder me.
Yeah, but those burner accounts are scary.
Yeah, that is true.
And I don't like my prostitutes knowing technology.
Yeah, me neither. I want mine a little more caveman, you know, like, what this do? I'm like, don't worry about that. You just take off those panties.
All right, Kitty. Two Moves podcast.
Is that still around?
You guys are labeling it where now that my partner's got a girlfriend, it's like getting less and less episodes. And less and less
doing like
yeah, I noticed. I went and looked and I saw that.
Yeah, because the girlfriend is like, what are you wasting your time?
That's you
playing radio in your office?
You're the real move. That other one, he doesn't have.
Yeah. You should take this.
You're the real champion.
Just call it One Move.
Yeah, you should call it One Move podcast,
better.
You should bring me on the podcast.
Oh, the Move.
I'm Move Fat.
Mrs. Move.
Yeah, Move and Mrs. Move.
So Two Moves anywhere podcasts are heard.
Yeah, go back to listen to those old episodes. You'll love them. They're great. Great. Nothing like good old information.
Anything else, Kenny?
I like Tom. That was a genuine laugh.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
I've been really working hard to get this guy laughing lately.
That was a solid five Mississippi laugh.
Okay, let's say this. We have a little bit of time. I knew today was going to be a hard day for him. He's having a tough day.
What?
And if I can make him laugh, you have to go to the stupid concert you don't want to go to. And as your friend, if I can make you laugh all day, so at least your day at work wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
That's the least I could do for you.
And I laugh the most when you S on someone's passion.
Yeah. Well, it's obviously not his passion. Or at least not for his cohort.
So when
that guy's passion is his new girlfriend.
When Crystal says, what was your favorite part of the concert, you can say when Daniel S'd on it the entire time before I came.
Yeah, no, I lie to her. Move. Keep her moviness out of here. All right. Bye-bye.
That was very funny. Is it at the amphitheater or the arena there?
Yeah, the arena.
At least it's inside.
Yeah.
God damn. When Andrea told me it was outside, she got it wrong. I was like, I looked it up. No, it's at Amelie. I was like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
It'll be cold.
Oh, God. I hate that amphitheater when it's any time that isn't the winter.
It's the hottest. Now, how can St. Augustine do it? Are we recording anymore?
No, that's it.
Guys.